like that's just the starting music. I didn't change it at all. It's just been that way for over a month now, so I didn't change it because I have to talk about the weather. But it should be gone by like September because it's not my birthday month when September comes anymore. All right, let me delete this. All right, I'll have this here just in case because I'm gonna need it to calculate stuff when I get to Typhoon stuff. All right, so we're talking about Idalia. No, not Idalia. Idalia and Franklin. Franklin got a lot stronger today. Yesterday was developing overnight. Now it's a 145-mile-per-hour storm in the middle of the Atlantic. It's east of Bahamas, west of Bermuda, and southeast of North Carolina. It's expected to recurve out, but it could still bring tropical storm force winds to Bermuda. And we have Idalia, which is strengthening slowly. It's not strengthening too quickly just yet, but it has winds 70 miles an hour. That jumped up from 40 yesterday. And it's going to become a hurricane around here. But the main thing is that what it does overnight, once it passes Cuba, and then makes it to Florida over tomorrow. We'll have to really see what it does there because it has a full day to get itself together. What about the hurricane going to Florida? Yeah. So, it's not a hurricane yet, but it's expected to be. I believe I have to track somewhere in here. It's a lot of stuff. Never mind. These are actually just these are stuff to actually track the storm. Where's the actual cone? Not that. It's this. Okay. Wrong storm, though. Click. There we go. Cone is right there. Get this one out. Alright, so it has a big tropical storm force wind field right now, wind 70 miles an hour as of the 5 p.m. update. This is Central Time, so it's 5 p.m. now. When they made this in my time, but if you live here, it's like 4 o'clock, almost 5 here. So it's about to become hurricane just in like a few hours after it crosses away from Cuba. It shouldn't be moving too far, but then it speeds up later on. I believe right here is supposed to be a Category 3 major hurricane. I don't think this is going to be a Category 3. I think it's going to be higher than that because it has a lot of warm water to work with. Like, I've seen storms like this before, where it's gone from tropical storm here to usually a Cat 4 at landfall, almost a Cat 5. It doesn't quite reach there, but it's almost around there, yeah. Almost around there a lot of the time, at least for the past few years. So you had Harvey was 130. Michael, which was in October, was 160. That was a Category 5 in Mexico Beach, Florida, which is, let me see, here somewhere. Somewhere there. Dorian was a bare miss. Laura was over here in 2020. Ida was here in 2021, both 150. And Ian was here last year. So, if following the cone exactly, then the storm would be, Idalia would make landfall somewhere around here. But that's just a cone. That's not talking about impacts. Because impacts will expand a long way away from the center. So even if you're like in Tampa Bay, even though you're not going to get the actual storm center itself, because the water's pushing in to the bay like this, the water's not going to be able to get out, so you're going to see a lot of terrible flooding from storm surge in the actual bay, even though the actual storm center is moved north of you, or it hasn't made direct landfall. And you'll get strong winds with that too, so just because you're not in the cone doesn't mean you're not going to see impacts. Even down the coast into like southwest Florida and on the Keys, you'll still get tropical storm force winds. And on this side of the of Florida coast too, northeast Florida, Georgia, and then South Carolina, as the storm crosses over land and gets the strong winds on that side. As when the storm centers here, it's going to be pulling in air off the Atlantic side and pushing that against the coastline. So, main thing to note, the storm should be there. Seems to like have slowed down, at least on this cone graphic. It was supposed to be here by like 1 a.m. like on Wednesday. But since the storm's going to be here 1 p.m. on Tuesday, and it's probably at night, it's going to have a full day and a half to intensify all the way up to landfall if it sees fit. Right now it has shear inside of it, so it's preventing it from organizing quickly. But once it gets that low shear environment, as it's moving in the same direction as the upper level flow, it can do a lot of intensification very quickly once it gets out of the Caribbean. It's already decently strong now as a 70-mile-per-hour storm. It just needs to get that structure there, and then it can blow up. So, expected a major hurricane category 3, but I expect higher. I will prepare for higher at least, and move out if you live here. So, things we'll note. We'll move over to this storm surge. We're looking around how much higher the water will be above what it normally is, sea level. So this isn't just like at the coast highest numbers, because this can extend far inland enough depending on how flat this land can be, which we'll check on this one because this one is better. It's a better indicator. So from Mexico Beach to Indian Pass is 1 to 3 feet on the west side of the Panhandle turn, the bend here. On the right side of that is 3 to 5 feet, so it's about half the size of a person to 75% the way up. So that can easily drown you if you're not careful. You have 5 to 8 feet just east of that from the I want to say it right, Olakni River and Osula River, which is the height of a person. So if you were to stand in the water, you'll be submerged. Even from Osula River down to Tassahoxika, 8 to 12 feet of storm surge. This is going to damage property. This will fly out the first floor of a lot of homes if you're on the coastline. It's not hitting North Carolina right now, but it will later on with the heavy rain and the winds. I think you meant will, not well. You just made a slight typing mistake there. For Tampa Bay, well, no, not just Tampa Bay. For south of Tuxtlaca, you'll have 69 feet up to the river. For Tampa Bay, you get 4 to 7 feet of storm surge, which is still damaging. And if you're on the coast, that's still life-threatening. And then south of Tampa Bay, the storm surge is 3 to 5 feet to 2 to 4 feet in Southwest Florida, where Ian came through last year. And in the Keys, the storm surge is 1 to 2 feet in the Dry Tortugas and the Keys. And along the extreme southwest Florida, it's 1 to 3 feet. So the main surge area where surges will be highest is going to be in the Big Bend of Florida, but storm surge will be significant from Tampa Bay northward into the Bend, and moderate storm surge should be prevalent from Southwest Florida and the Bend, or the west part of the Bend, and onto the East Coast over here. Not life-threatening to the same degree as this, but could still do a lot of damage and drown you if you're not careful, because there's going to be waves on top of the storm surge. So you have 8 to 12 feet of water above what's normally dry land, and you have waves that are moving on top of that in addition to the winds. So that's going to do a lot of damage if you're underneath the storms, if you're in the area where the storm surge is going to move through, which I can show on this map. Alright, so cap it like zoomed out. It's hard to do this sometimes. So we'll start from, my God, nothing is working. Okay, we'll start from around east of Panama City. Start there. So lots of areas are on the western part of Big Bend, 1 to 3 feet in a lot of areas. This gray stuff is like swamp marshland, so that's easily submergible in the storm. Easily submergible. Some 3 to 5 feet in there as well. Well, no, greater than 3 feet in these yellow areas. along Ocklackney Bay, along the river. There's a good amount of that along the coastline here. Potential for greater than 6 feet in this area. Over here, 3 feet for a good amount inland, and then 1 foot, 1 to 3 feet higher up in elevation. I can't get this map to do its thing properly. You get more of that. Where are we going? You get more of that along these rivers, these tidal rivers in what part of Big Bend is this? In the eastern Big Bend? Don't know what's the nearest city. Just like there's no real cities marked on the map here, but you go farther south the coast, closer to what would this be? Go farther south the coast, lots of 9 feet above ground, stretching pretty far inland as well. So the 9 to 6 feet above, 6 to 9 feet and higher above the ground, it goes pretty far inland. Even the 3 feet goes pretty far up. Like some of these rivers, it will go farther because the water has more area that it can move up. And the surge is really bad in this area, which would be southwest of Ocala around the Homerasa Springs. So the surge seems to be really bad in this area, particularly. There's probably where that 12-foot surge might be, because if the storm track is moving where the cone says, then a lot of the water is going to be pushed into this area. It's not going to be able to get out too easily. Similar thing along the coast as we're getting closer to Tampa Bay. A little bit less of the higher flooding, the 9 feet and above, but still a good amount of 6 feet and 3 feet along most of the bay and most of like Clearwater. 3 feet or higher, 6 feet directly on the coast. In Tampa Bay, you're seeing in the city 3 feet of storm surge above normal. Gets pretty far into the city, 3 feet. Some 6 feet closer to the water. And 6 feet. I don't know where downtown is. I think downtown's maybe like up here. I think downtown's like right there. So some flooding in downtown definitely. And some 6 feet in this area. On the north side of Tampa Bay. And on this island up here, north of Clearwater, there's a potential for 9 feet storm surge. So we go down coastline to Sarasota. You get 3 feet along the immediate coast. At least 3 feet or more on the immediate coast for a lot of these areas. Some patches is 6 feet, and then 1 to 3 feet in a good amount of these places. Even far inland where the water gets pushing around like the Mayaka River. And that keeps going. So there's a solid amount of 3 feet above storm surge in a good amount of this area along the immediate coast, but then farther inland it transitions to 1 feet to 1 to 3 feet. So along the immediate coast, 3 feet or higher down in southwest Florida, but further inland, just a little bit further, it will be 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, which is still damaging if that gets on your property, but it shouldn't be flooding as significant as up here and enough to cause very serious damage at Level's houses kind of thing. So earliest arrival time of the winds, they're already in western Cuba. The tropical storm force winds are already there. Earliest time, by 2 a.m. they start approaching the Keys of Florida and the Dry Tortugas. At 8 a.m. on Tuesday, earliest, we start getting into southern Florida. By 2 p.m. they're encroaching on the Tampa area. This is in Central Time, by the way. And by Tuesday on 8 p.m., basically most of Florida is underneath tropical storm force winds. And the next morning, well, if we say like Wednesday 2 a.m., as the storm's approaching its landfall, tropical storm force winds should be across all of Florida and into southern Georgia. And by 8 a.m. on Wednesday, large amounts of Georgia will be under tropical storm force winds and even over the water. Storm's making landfall and is slowly moving in this area. But that's earliest, and then that continues moving to the Carolinas through the latter part of Wednesday, Thursday, and then it moves offshore after that, and can possibly bring some tropical storm force winds to Bermuda later down along the line. But if we use wind speed probabilities, that's pretty low for Bermuda, but for a lot of Florida, especially Western Florida, that's where the highest likelihood of tropical storm force winds are going to be. Western Florida, from Southwest Florida, especially moving north of Fort Myers, getting to Tampa Bay, that area, and then the Big Bend has the highest chance of it for tropical storm force winds. Most likely for most of the day on Tuesday, tropical storm force winds will start arriving in Tampa by around Tuesday by 8 p.m. tomorrow. So that's not late at night, but by the time the winds get there, the sun will be setting. So, as the storm is strengthening all day, as the sun is setting, that's when the tropical storm force winds are going to begin to roll in, and the storm's really going to start in an area like Tampa. It's just starting to get in there. At 2 p.m., most of Florida still doesn't have tropical storm force winds, except for the Keys, at least on this graphic. So most of the storm doesn't get over most of Florida until Wednesday morning as it's coming ashore. But the impacts start the night before, 12 hours beforehand, really start kicking in. The wind impacts. The waves in the surge will already start building up beforehand, but will intensify when the wind gets there. But the impacts really start getting into Florida Tuesday night, and they ramp up quickly overnight into Wednesday morning. At least from that perspective. If we continue moving on, rainfall. So in Florida, we're going to see, over the Gulf, Eastern Gulf, we're seeing 6 to 10 inches of rain where the storm center is expected to go. And then over Western Florida around Tampa Bay, you're seeing 6 to 10 inches. A wide swath over most of Florida of 2 to 4 inches of rain. Just east in like the suburbs of Tampa, and in the northern suburbs of like Sarasota or Fort Myers, you're seeing about 4 to 6 inches of rain. And then in the Big Bend, you're seeing 6 to 10 inches. And then you have a wide swath of this 4 to 6 inches that stretches over the coastal area to Carolinas. And you get a number of batches of 6 to 10 inches right along this area where from Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, this area of southeast South Carolina, and southern North Carolina. So along the coastline, you're going to see 6 to 10 inches of rain. So that can cause a lot of problems, especially if it comes down fast enough. But that's also mentioning that the area around is also getting plenty of rain. So any flooding that you do get here, in addition to the winds from the ocean moving onto land, is going to stop a lot of this heavy rain from actually being able to drain out. So any heavy rain that does fall is going to be stuck on land for a good amount of time. So flooding will be an issue. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to get rid of, especially when it's coming from the rain in these areas. So I keep that in mind. Tropical storm force winds will also be present there as well. So if you combine the rain with the winds, trees can easily go down. Power outages because of that. And along the coast, storm surge is coming in from the water, so you get water damage from the sea. So keep that in mind if you live in the Carolinas. This will most likely get there on this will be a Wednesday threat, so that's 2 days out. So you have 2 days. You have really 1 day. You have the rest of the day and tomorrow to prepare for it. And then when Wednesday starts coming around, conditions will start deteriorating in this region as the storm, when it makes landfall in Florida, will be moving into this area. So if we look at that, basically, that's why you have a moderate risk of flash flooding in this area from the Big Bend of Florida through the southern coast of the Carolinas and Georgia, as well as this large area of slight risk that's encompassing all that due to the heavy rain that's coming with it. So if you do get a band that sets up and you get a lot more heavy rain than expected, I would expect flooding. Regardless, even if you're not in like the moderate risk, I would still expect flooding. because if you get the wrong band to set up over you, or you get the rain just keeps training over you, you're definitely going to get more than the amount of rain that you're expecting. So I'll keep this in mind. Keep up with the National Hurricane Center and like your local authorities for this type of stuff, so you know what's the best impact for you. And also check the radar throughout the day, or constantly throughout the day, just to make sure. So that's it for Idalia. We'll look at some tracks. Look at a track. This is convection, but I won't show the satellite imagery. We will show models, so we can pick out an intensity before we get to Franklin and the rest of the storms. So Idalia on the GFS is initializing at 994. On the actual official update, it's 987. So this storm's already weaker on the model than where it actually is. So it starts strengthening as it pulls away from Cuba and gets down to a 970 as it moves into the Big Bend of Florida. So it drops in that 6-hour period, right before it gets close to land, it drops 11 millibars, which is very bad, because that means rapid strengthening. And then that moves over. See a lot of heavy rain in southern Georgia, northern Florida, where it makes landfall. And then that heavy rain sticks over the Carolinas as it moves eastward, and it weakens down wind-wise, but the rain stays there. And then it moves out. Well, I hope it moves out. This would not be good. At least towards the end of the model, it moves out, but then it bends back in. We'll see if that verifies. But this is the newer run GFS that just came out. Check the Euro model. This is an older run from 12Z, so that would have been like in the morning or in the afternoon, the early afternoon. So this initializes Idalia at 997. It's 10 millibars stronger than that at the moment. It strengthens it and brings a Category 1 hurricane into the Big Bend. But this is already weaker at initialization. It doesn't really take advantage of that warm water to get it really strong, at least on the Euro. But the track takes it into the Big Bend, but close enough to Tampa to really get that water flowing in there. As you see Franklin, that's off to the right. So, and then that moves out into the open ocean and degenerates, but we'll see what happens with that. We'll check the Canadian, then we'll check the hurricane models. So, right now, Canadian's initializing at 992 when this came out. That's around where it was when this update was made, so it's accurate initial starting time. It moves over the Gulf, begins strengthening, but doesn't really rapidly strengthen like quickly until it gets close to Florida, where it begins picking up speed, picking up that intensity pretty quickly, and gets down to 979. And that's a little bit further west. It's not as close to Tampa, but still close enough to get the water in there. But these models don't really show it getting strong. But the NHC knows, at least on the official forecast notes, that it will probably be a major hurricane. It's already going to be a hurricane around Cuba, like later today. So we'll have that starting point. So even if it only drops like 20 millibars, if it's dropping 20 millibars from a 980 something storm, that's still like 960. So these models are already off from that perspective. And then that still continues to bring heavy rain into the Carolinas. And then that moves out to sea. So we'll check the hurricane models now. We'll check HWRF, the HAPS model, and the HB. HAPS-B. We'll check all three of them. We'll see what we see. So let's back it up. Okay. HWRF initializes Idalia at a 992, similar to what it was earlier, with the convection being on the south side. If I look at the Cuban radar, convection is still on the south side, So that mid-level center, if you guys see like the rotation up here, it's still there. The rotation of the storm is like still there, but the mid-level center, the one that's higher up in the atmosphere, is down south due to wind shear that's pushing against the storm at the moment. So for the storm to get that intensity quickly, faster than expected, it needs to get its centers aligned together so it can get really strong. So we'll take this out. It doesn't strengthen too much by Cuba. Comes a 980. Oh. Okay. That drops pretty quickly. Okay. Never mind. So it's a 992, so it's passing by Cuba in like 15 hours. Once it passes by Cuba, though, it starts dropping pretty quickly. It drops 10 millibars in 3 hours, just as it passes by Cuba. Starts dropping down pretty quickly as it leaves, departs from Cuba, gets down to a 964 in about 30 hours. Becomes around a major hurricane in 36 hours from now. Not now, but from earlier, like 2 p.m. 953 is it's passing west of Tampa by about 2 longitude points. And it's a 946 here. And then that moves north. There's a 9. Ooh, that's a pretty big jump there. Yeah, so it's losing those millibars pretty fast. So we go. So rapid intensification is a storm strengthening by 35 miles per hour and the 24 millibar drop in 24 hours. So let's start from hour 30. Well, yeah, hour 30. All right, so we move it out. It's been 6 hours. It's already dropped 12 millibars or so. Move it again. It's dropped 19. So, and then from about 15 hours, it drops 34 millibars and is getting very strong as it's coming towards the Big Bend of Florida, a bit further west. So that's why Tampa Bay in this scenario will not get as much storm surge because the storm's farther west and the wind's not as strong pushing it into the bay. But 934 major hurricane as it's coming along the west coast of Big Bend. 931 just before landfall. Makes landfall in the west part of Big Bend. And then those hurricane force winds are over Georgia and over Florida, both sides. Storm weakens as it moves over Georgia. Still very strong, lots of heavy rain, very strong winds. So this will take out power in this area if this were to materialize. Storm begins to unravel pretty quickly, but then the heavy rain stays in the northern part of Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. And the southern side of the storm is pretty dry after this point. So the heavy rain is going to be in the mountains. So this will exacerbate heavy rain in the mountains pretty bad. Well, not pretty bad. Because rain's moving into the mountains, it will be exacerbated because the mountains are going to force it over it to lift, and that's going to create more rainfall as the moisture is getting sponged out of the system. It's getting sucked out the system as the mountains wring it out. So a lot more heavy rain in the mountains, Appalachian Mountains in this scenario. So that brings a lot more flooding to places like western North Carolina, western South Carolina. And that heavy rain lasts quite a bit of time. And as the storm moves eastward, there's still some heavy rain in Virginia, and then it stays there and weakens down on the H-Worth model. But the heavy rain north of it will be a big story after its main center collapses due to land interaction. We can check the 10-meter wind as well. So tropical storm force winds will be along the coast as the storm is inland in this scenario, but it doesn't keep that status for too long. So there will still be tropical storm force winds along the coastline, so that will keep the surge elevated along the coastline, so the water levels will be higher. But since the storm's not on the coastline directly, not right next to it, the winds won't be as strong and it can't maintain itself as well. So this surge wouldn't last as long in this particular scenario. Even though the winds are onshore, the winds are not as strong to really get the surge up there and to keep it there. Let's look at the HAPS A model for Idalia. Let's take it back to hour 0. 991. Okay, exactly how it is. Look at the radar. So it moves east, north. Am I seeing that right? It's probably, that's intensification is probably too big there. But it gets, it's 990, jumps to 986, 982 as it passes by western Cuba. Gets over the Gulf, starts intensifying. Weakens down briefly, but then starts really intensifying as it moves north. And it becomes a 951 major hurricane, is making landfall in the eastern part of Big Bend. On this model, it's west of Tampa Bay by a good amount, but it's close. It's not as strong as it was on the HWRF. There's still a lot of heavy rain that's moving ahead of it. And on this scenario, it's farther east, so you get a stronger storm as it's entering Georgia, and its heavy rain is really heavy north of the storm. As the storm straddles the coastline, that storm surge is going to be a big problem, as that wind is not really dying down. The storm's right along the coast, so that wind's gonna get very strong. Not very strong. It's gonna be stronger than if it was over land, farther inland. So the wind stays strong and the heavy rain continues pouring along the coastline. So that wind is not going to allow that water to get out in southern South Carolina and in North Carolina as that storm moves out. So we'll check the winds. So you're getting around 50 to 60 mile per hour winds along the coastline. After what's going on the coastline, and since the storm stays relatively strong along the coast, those winds are going to persist. So all that heavy rain that does fall is not going to have a place to go since the ocean is elevated, so it cannot escape. So in this scenario, as this heavy rain, like when the storm moves here, check the heavy rain, which is right here. So all this rain that's falling up here is not going to be able to escape into the Atlantic Ocean because the winds are pushing onto land, and it's going to prevent that water from actually escaping. So in this situation, the flooding would be exacerbated as this heavy rain is falling at a decent clip, but the ocean itself is not allowing the water to escape because it's pushed up against the land, so that water can't get out, so it has to go up instead. So you're going to see a lot of flooding coming out of this scenario. Rainfall flooding and coastal flooding. It's rainfall because the coastal flooding exists, and it's pretty prevalent because the storm center is right next to the coastline. Since that's also the thing, pressures will be lower, so that water can be pulled up more in this scenario. So that moves out eventually. We'll look at the HAPS B model as well for Idalia, and we'll look at hour 3. Start here, pull it out. HAPS B has it at a strength of 987, a bit stronger than what it was earlier. I think it's actually on par with what it was earlier. So 982, 980. Becomes a hurricane west of Cuba. Weakens down a little bit. But once it pulls away from Cuba, it starts strengthening pretty quickly. It drops that pressure from 982 at hour 15 to a 969 in 12 hours. That's a pretty decent intensification there. And then afterward, it continues that drop of like 5 millibars every 3 hours until it gets closer to Tampa. Well, not closer to Tampa. It gets closer. It gets closer to Tampa as it moves towards the Big Bend. This will probably be, if I look at this, this will probably be the closest it gets. So you have a 938 millibar storm that's off the coast, that's pushing water into Tampa Bay. But this seems, well, I think on all the models, this seems shifted westward. So not as much storm surge might get into the bay based on this, since it's moving westward. and that makes landfall closer to the western part of Big Bend. So you have a 920 millibar storm approaching land, 926. Strong Cat 4, maybe a Category 5, depending on how strong the winds are. Very heavy rain next to the center. And then you see all this heavy rain north of it, just streaming northward. Weakens down, but still strong winds in Georgia. And then that stays on the coast like the other model said. And that keeps that heavy rain off South Carolina, these extreme rainfall rates. Over near Charleston, north of Charleston, like Columbia, north of there. So, as the water's being pushed into Charleston from the ocean, that heavy rain that's trying to get out, as it's coming down the river, is going to have a hard time as the storm's moving by. Rain clears up in South Carolina, so the storm center moves over it. And it stays heavy over North Carolina. Storm moves back over the water, and it loses its convection. And it loses its center at the end of the run. So main takeaway, Big Bend seems to be the target for the storm, at least right now. We will have to see tomorrow based on where it is, where it's positioned. It's positioned farther east, and it will probably hit somewhere farther east in the Big Bend and bring more surge into Tampa as it's moving north. If it's farther west, it will be closer to Alligator Point and to the Panhandle of Florida. And that will bring less surge to Tampa Bay, but more impacts to the Panhandle and the west part of Big Bend. But that also matters because that affects if the storm's going to be on the coastline in the Carolinas. Because if it's on the coastline in the Carolinas, that will intensify the flooding from both the storm surge and the rain. But if it's inland, then the rain flooding will be the major threat, and the storm surge should not be as bad. So that would allow more rainfall to actually escape, lessening the flooding, or lessening the impact of the flooding up here, or making sure it's not as prolonged as it would be otherwise. But yeah, that's what I have on Idalia, or Idalia. We'll switch this model to Franklin now. Now Franklin is pretty strong at the current moment. I said 145 earlier. That blew up pretty fast. It looks like a really good hurricane on satellite. It should stay north of Bermuda, at least on this current track. It should stay north of it. There's still tropical storm force winds as the storm's supposed to be. It's going to be pretty large, so its impacts will be spread out from its center. Even though the actual storm center won't make landfall in Bermuda, the wind radius will be large enough. To affect it if it takes the more southern part of that cone. Still life-threatening surf and rip currents along the east coast of the United States because of the swells that are coming from the storm. It has to be, it destabilizes it way too strong. 10 millibars stronger than what it is. But it's a strong major hurricane. It does have it weaken as it moves north, east. But we're not going to check the hurricane models for this. We're going to check the global model for the GFS and make it for the. Let's put the Western Atlantic. Bermuda is right there. Okay, Bermuda is in the picture. So GFS has this way too weak. We move this north. It moves north of Bermuda and stays out the wind field, luckily, which is a good thing. In this case, this is a good thing. That it stays far enough north to really not get those tropical storm force winds to the same degrees if the storm was farther south. It's on this run. So Franklin seems to miss Bermuda and go off into the open North Atlantic, which we can use this one, which is better. See everything. And that brings some rain to to Newfoundland as it transitions to a post-tropical storm. Maybe it will go up to Greenland and bring a lot of heat and moisture up here. That can bring rain and snow to the area, so we'll keep an eye on that. To the some glaciers up here, we'll keep an eye on that, how much damage that does to the glaciers, depending on how much warmth it has when it gets up here. We'll check the Euro as well. and we'll move this back. So, initializes the storm way too weak. This brings it... Okay, that brings Franklin closer to Bermuda. So in this scenario, Bermuda will get tropical storm force winds because it's inside of its actual circulation terrain pattern. And maybe it gets something from Idalia later on, as that moves erratically. That moves kind of south. But Franklin passes north of the island, but it's closer on this run. So more impacts from this. More heavy rain, more strong winds from tropical storm force winds. Unlikely that they get the center, that's still far away, relatively. But tropical storm force winds can't be ruled out in this scenario. And if we check the CMC, you would get... Check out the CMC. It moves north of the island and takes that, merges it with a mid-latitude storm, and takes that into the North Atlantic. So Franklin has the potential to bring tropical storm force winds to Bermuda. Looks to be unlikely, but if it takes that far of an end of the cone, I would expect tropical storm force winds, which you guys are built for there, and some heavy rain. Mainly, I would just avoid the surf and stay inside that day. But it doesn't seem like the main strength of the storm is going to be there. So it's fortunate for Bermuda as it passes north. All right. So we can exit the hurricane tabs now. Exit these, since we just covered this. Joint Typhoon Warning Center. We have Typhoon Salo. We have Damare, Tropical Storm Damare, which is east of Japan. And we have Tropical Depression Hakut, which is 10W. And that's over... Don't know where that is exactly. This is 20 degrees north, and this is 140 degrees west. So it's around 20 degrees north, 140 degrees west. So from this perspective, it's east of where Salo is. We'll check on Salo's track first, which is this. So these are in knot measurements. So to find miles per hour, I have to multiply this by 1.15. That's why I have this here. So the storm had formed out here. It tracked westward. It had made a southern loop, brought rain to Luzon, east of Luzon. Iowa was just offshore. It's made a U-turn and is bending back, and it should pass south of Taiwan. Looks like the islands in between Taiwan and the Philippines will have the greatest impact from this in the short term. And then eventually it moves into the South China Sea and moves closer to mainland China, where it's expected to weaken as it does so, but will still probably bring a good amount of rain as it's doing that. So 115 knots, I believe, translates to like 130 miles an hour. I believe 115, yeah, 115 translates to about 130 miles per hour winds. So that's what's happening over in the West Pacific, and that's for when it's over the islands. No, not over the islands. Just before the islands between Taiwan and the Philippines, weakens down slightly and then continues moving westward. We'll check this on the global models. Let's just pander over to the Western Pacific, which is this basin. Pander over here. We use the GFS first. We'll look at it. So we have a 950 millibar typhoon, which is Salo. East of the Philippines, bringing some rain. That, over the next few hours, that moves, jumps a little bit, weakens, moves through the southern islands, close to the Philippines, and then that slowly moves westward and begins weakening. No, it stays steady. When does it begin weakening? Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't. Oh, that might be bad. Okay, so on the GFS model, it moves westward into the South China Sea, but does not weaken like it does on the JTWC, the Joint Typhoon Warning Center forecast. So as Salo moves westward on this model, it does not weaken as it approaches China, and actually begins strengthening until it begins weakening right before landfall, and then it begins dissipating as it stalls off the coast. And then we have more storms coming out this gyre, this monsoonal gyre over here. Hey Zay, what's going on? I have more storms that are spinning out of this monsoon gyre down here on the GFS model. Hakut, which is here, moves north. Get another storm that spins out of this gyre. Moves north, strengthens through into a typhoon. Passes through the islands of Japan, and then enters the East China Sea. Gets strong, becomes a 961 typhoon, maybe a major typhoon, major hurricane equivalent, and then that moves around where Shanghai would be. It moves south of where Shanghai will be, but stalls as it makes landfall. And then you have this storm behind that as well that forms up, moves south of Japan, and you get another storm that forms behind that as well. So there's a lot of things. So there's at least 4 storms, 2 storms existing right now, Salo and Hakut, and then these storms right here form out of energy as these storms pull away from this monsoon gyre. So we'll see what happens from that. We'll check the Euro model as well in the CMC, and then we'll get to hurricane models for Salo and Hakut, and then we'll end this part of the stream. So Sakut on the Euro is a 968 millibar typhoon. See where that goes. It weakens to a 970, passes in the middle of the islands, strengthens as it approaches Taiwan in about 2 days to a 960, as it's passing very close to southern Taiwan. Believe it should make like landfall if that were the case, but it stays around 970. So it would make landfall or be close to it, and then gets into the South China Sea, which is a 968, 988, and then it jumps intensity. And then it goes up to 974, slowly weakens as it approaches land, and makes landfall in southeastern China. I do not remember what province this is, though. I have to check. As these troughs move northward. Hakut behind it doesn't get too strong early on, and just does not really develop, really, as it moves northwestward. Stays at like a tropical depression or a disorganized area of thunderstorms. And then there's that one area of energy that spins off of the gyre down here, and that becomes something. So stuff is spinning off the gyre, but it's not developing at the same level as what the GFS is seeing. So there's stuff. So things we do know. Something will come out of here. We'll come out here after these 2 storms. We just don't know what, but we'll see what happens. We do know that the eastern storm does exist, though. Oh no, Euro, it's there. It's just not as strong. On the Canadian, we got 4 storms here. Maybe 5, actually. Hold on. Okay, that's way too weak. Okay, Salo is 985 on this model. That's way too weak. Initialized way too weak. This is a 950 right now. Look like this. I think there should be an intensity thing on here. It should be. But it's definitely not that weak. It's not that weak. It's weakening off of a very strong typhoon status, but it's not that weak. It moves westward, intensifies, moves between the islands. What is Hakut gets pulled in north of it, and pulls into the East China Sea, into eastern China, south of Shanghai. Same thing the GFS is seeing, but weaker. And then Salo doesn't make that push into the West China Sea. No, not West China Sea, the South China Sea. Doesn't make that push in there. Stalls and then gets pulled back eastward as these two storms form out of that gyre and get another one that tries to develop. But if we're just looking at official forecast, Hakut is expected to go towards where Shanghai will be in the long range. The cone is very big, so it could be anywhere within here. But the general trend on like the GFS and CMC, the Canadian model, was to take the storm from here and then bring it into somewhere south of Shanghai. Somewhere here. So that is correct. That's the trend that both the models are seeing. The question is, how strong will it be when it gets there? Really. Because on this model, it gets to 95 knots and then starts weakening down. So that's about a category 3, I think, almost. If I check the knot thing. 95 would be a Cat 2. Very strong Cat 2, almost a Cat 3. Here, and then that slowly weakens down as that approaches China. The question is just how strong does this get? Does it get, and does it stay farther west in the cone, or does it shift east? That's the main question for Hakut. Well, not Hakut. Hakwai, at least. That's the question. Salo does move does move through these islands on all the models, but on they have different solutions. The GFS takes it westward into southern China. The Euro takes it northward into either through Taiwan possibly and into southeastern China, and the CMC doesn't take it, takes it through the islands but doesn't take it into the South China Sea at all and brings it out. So this is going to be interesting, but we're just following the official forecast. The Typhoon Salo should move into the South China Sea and be a threat for China as it's weakening. But we'll see what happens. I'll keep updated on this for you guys. But yeah, that was my weather update. So we got through Idalia. Got through Franklin. We got through Typhoon Salo, and we got through Hakoi and the other storms that could form after it. So now, from that, we'll switch over to Splatoon 3 now. We'll switch over to that. It's gonna take me like 1 second. I gotta like get rid of every single page ever I have. I gotta get rid of the pen too, fortunately. Alright. Now, let me get my Switch on so we can play Splatoon 3. If you guys have any questions about the weather update, please do let me know, and I can probably answer them for you, because I want to do that. Alright, everyone's on Splatoon 3 except me. Splatoon 2. Alright. I mean, I could do more Octo expansion. Not really too many people are here, so we'll do Octo expansion first, actually. Do Octo expansion first, and then we'll get to Splatoon 3 eventually. Oh, uh-oh. It's taking too long, I guess. Yeah. It's taking too long, so we have to use Splatoon 3. SD card is broken again. Unfortunately. This tends to happen a lot, my bad. Because SD card is not always registering. It might be the dirt that's in the console. Alright. Oh yeah, I gotta get that. Why is my man playing Salmon right now? Alright, I'll join them. And it's fine. Oh wait, hold on. Might need shoes actually. And the hat because I'm gonna need special. Cancel. I don't even think they're in the game. Nah, they are. Alright, just gotta wait then. Yep, just gotta wait. Just playing soda can gameplay at this point. Cars outside. Okay. Hello. Alright, I got a 5-star this weapon, dog. Okay. Okay. How did my man escape that? Okay. Okay. This guy is just a giant gangster. Okay. Got him. Yeah. I wish I could actually aim, bro. There we go. Good game. Not too bad. Alrighty. That was cool. I mean, I could keep grinding like this. This is fine. I'm gonna wait until like someone pops up on stream. There we go. I gotta actually learn how to, that's crazy. I gotta actually learn the, button inputs. Yeah, I just gotta learn about the inputs next time. If I learn about the inputs, I'm fine. Alright. I mean, they don't have, like, new weapons. They should be fine. paint that. Congratulations. What do you mean, boo, bro? I already did the weather update, so I'm just playing this because no one else is here. So I decided, okay, someone's playing like this game, so why not play with them? Oh, I thought you were like doing the stream. My bad, bro. I didn't know that you were trying to scare me. There we go. My bad, it's negative. Okay, that's fine. I mean, everyone gets a soda can. I find that it's easy for me to get scared when I get scared with, when something's moving. Usually words don't usually scare me. It's usually like stuff that just happens out of nowhere. For the most part. You playing with streams or nah? What do you mean playing with streams? You mean playing with viewers? You can't play with a stream, but you can play with viewers. What's happening, dog? Uh-oh. I think I messed it up. Of course I did. Not good. I missed that entire thing. Let me just save that. I missed it all. Yeah, I can. There's barely anyone here, though, but I can. I just gotta save that replay. I missed the entire section there because I hit my table a little bit too hard. And I messed up the HDMI cord, so that's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that couldn't see the victory screen there. But she's back on my team, so we're good. I haven't seen an actual person play L3D in a while. That weapon's so uncommon. Hold on, buddy. Barely any paint behind back here. Oh, I'm dead. You got the DLC? You mean like the expansion pack? Is that what you got? You playing X? Nah, this is Turf War, bro. I'm playing Turf War right now. Hey, I need you to move back from there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so that's probably the expansion pack. Unless you're talking about Splatoon 2. If you're talking about Splatoon 2, then it's outdoor spending. Hey, bro. Okay, smart play by them, actually. It's truly smart. Okay, they're both dead. But what? There we go. GG. But yeah, nah, this isn't X, this is just Turf War, so you can join at any time that you want. It's just Turf War. Yeah, this is my playing with viewers stream, playing Turf War. Although no one knows the pool code, so has me in the pool code, so maybe I should actually do that. Super dark outside. Yo, I wish it was July right now, actually. No, actually June. If it was June with this weather, it would be so perfect. Alright, Star Dragon's here now. Ugh. Change the pool code back to normal. Oh, I forgot to do that. I have to do that, yeah. I actually gotta do that. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. I gotta do that after this match. Done. Oh, I'm not pizza behind me. Okay, I'm stupid. This guy killed me. Hey Tuesday, what's going on? My dog can't hit a thing, dude. Oh my god. My bro's competitive here, but he cannot hit a single shot. Fine. We all suck sometimes. This is not the comp, bro. It has no thing. Hey, bro, get out of there. Dog. Oh, they're there too? Okay. Alright, there you go. I'm waiting on this guy to do something. Like, dog, move it up, G. It's time to go. Okay, smart guy. Okay, he knows how to camp there, that's fine. it down.
Yeah. There's no hope. We're dead. We don't know what we're doing. Fine. Yeah. Thing is, you don't like run these weapons. The Squiffer can't even hit anything, so I don't know why he's using that weapon in the first place. But it's Turf War, so I usually say that if you're playing Turf War, you play weapons that you're not good at, so you can play them in rank later. Although honestly, I will honestly say do that in Anarchy Open because you lose even less if you do it there compared to if you do it in Turf War. Because in Turf War, you're ruining casuals gameplay by doing that. In ranked, you're ruining nothing. So, if you want to test out a weapon, you play it in Anarchy Open. Which is ironically, like, very sweaty. Anarchy Open's a very sweaty place. Like, you can fight some of the best players on Earth, or you can fight the person who just picked up the game like yesterday. I mean, it's all manipulated. Because if you already had like a higher power before, then what is my man doing? Okay. But yeah, Anarchy Open's where you would test it out, because you lose nothing. Effectively. You can gain a lot, like money, but you lose nothing. It's just rank 2.0. Or casual rank, I would say. Oh. Okay. Yeah, just painting the base casually. Casually painting the base now. I mean, I can make a push here. I can try and make a push here. Although I gotta be lucky enough to survive this one. Alright, the map is starting to add up, so it's looking real good. Yeah, the map's looking real good now. The map is looking real good. Oh. I know she's my friend, but I have to kill her. Not allowed to survive. But yeah, this is Turf War. Your teammates are everywhere on the map, even if you're killing them. On the enemy side, teammates are just everywhere. Boy. Look. Oh, Falmine got that one. What are you retreating from, dog? What you doing? There you go. Alright, you want to join? I gotta go back and change the pool. Let me go do that.
Yeah, carrying on kills. Controller? Work, please? There we go. There we go. Alright, we're back in this pool. They're joinable. Don't ask why your profile picture is now picking. I don't know, bro. I mean, you guys want to do anarchy open, or like, what do you guys want to do? I mean, I'll do this briefly. I'll do like one more match of this, and then I'll back out. Oh, you got the red pigment. That's actually pretty cool. Got all Pikmin? Like all the colors or all the games? Yeah, it do be shooting at it down here. Don't know why, bro. Why are we playing double arrow split? Hey, move back. I need you to move back, actually. Yeah, that's right, move back. Yeah, move back, bro. Back up. Okay, now I know how to lose the shooters, because I'm not actually shooting at them. I'm playing with them half the time. I'm not actually shooting at the person, I'm just throwing paint out. Dog, why are you jumping? Die. Yeah, I killed two. I just need these guys to paint, bro. Paint for like 2 seconds, please. I beg of you. Nope. Die, bro. No. It is not your time to just... don't know what they're painting, what this guy's looking at now. But bro, my man's gotta paint like all that. Like, nah. I have no idea why he's looking back. That's not where the enemy is. Gotta look straight. The enemy is not behind you. Like, they have strikes there, yes, but that paint's irrelevant because they're not there yet. It's not connected to anything. So, looking back, it's not gonna work there. I can't blame him, though, because the paint did exist, so I can't blame him. You got school in like 3 hours? No, 8 hours. Okay. How you feel about that, man? Well, how do you feel about school being in 8 hours? Challenge? Oh, Zipcaster challenge. Okay. Yeah. Feel depressed? Ooh. Yeah, I know. School hasn't gotten any better. I mean, wait, no. Does school start for you tomorrow? Like it's the first day of school, or have you already been in school for a while? Because I don't start school until next week. When's that challenge? I think it's tonight. I gotta check the time, bro. What is my bro doing? My man has to put the splash down. Why is half my team dead already? Okay, I can afford to die there. That's fine. 3 AM, bro? Oh no, I'm not doing that. Well, that's 3 AM your time. That's probably like 10 AM my time then. So I probably won't be streaming it, but I'll be playing it. Your third week of school? Yeah, man, I don't even have school yet. I mean, I have orientation this week to get me orientated for school, which is next week, but even that's not a full week of school. My first full week of school is 2 weeks away. Okay, I'm dead. Bro's not painting. Yeah, I don't know what we're doing here. Because these rat strategies don't work against you, dude. There we go. Aim that out. Make a push. Keep going. Well, actually, paint this so the flank doesn't get attacked. Okay, revive yourself, please. Get in here. Okay. Paint this behind here. Starts for me. For me. And, oh, okay, it starts today. I mean, besides assignments, which I know like can be pretty bad sometimes because we don't get assignments on the first day. I'm really wondering like what's the experience gonna be, because I feel like there's gonna be a lot of kids that are just gonna be coughing in class, and it's gonna be really distracting. Don't want to get sick the first week of school. What's a rat strategy? You're trying, so basically, like, what Twisted was doing there, they're painting, like, they're trying to get around the enemy base, like, their defenses, and trying to live in their base, what they're doing there. They're not fighting them head-on, they're pushed past the front line behind the enemy. So they're trying to paint behind so people can get jumps in, so we can do, like, a pincer movement thing. The issue is that it's turf war, and that people don't usually move too far away from, like, the spawn, so you're dead either way, usually. Congratulations. I could join that. Could. If I wanted to. Alright. Hey Banana Boy, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. But yeah, they were trying to get behind the enemy base so they can get jumps in so people could attack. That was their plan, but it didn't work because they got caught. You're in the game? Okay. We'll give you some time. Only this thing does 65 damage, man. Tri-Slosher did 65 damage, that would kill. I wish it did, but it doesn't. You gotta hit. Nah, not that. You gotta hit that. Gotta hit that combo. Not that combo. You guys want to join or no? I mean, there's only like 2 people here, so I mean, I could back out for now. Yeah, the room is full. My power is around 1900. Let's see what we can do. Can't believe you killed someone at the side. Why? Can't believe someone I killed at the side they killed me. Interesting. I mean, it might just be a coincidence for how you're moving. What, bro? Why is my guy running there? What is my man doing? My man is crazy. Why are you running on the blaster, bro? He is not savable. Like actually, what are you running now? What is my guy on the other team running? What are these people running, bro? Nah. My man's playing useless, bro. He's playing this on hard mode. What? Don't they have a team type? Don't they have something that kills people? I don't know what they're doing with that. Okay, that's a major L on my part. I need to sloth left. My bad. I got to sloth left next time. Why are you guys running from a stamp like that? What are you doing, bro? Just place down a wave right here. It counts as a stamp. 100%. A $199 stamp. On that tower. Why is everyone jumping off the tower? Dude, like I'm on the I jump off tower because I need to go play push, and like the guy is going for like kills and jumps off the tower and no one's on tower. I don't get it. Why are you striking the tower? Why are you striking? Nothing's on the tower. What are you doing, bro? Nothing's on this tower, man. Nothing's on the tower, dog. What are you shooting at? What are you shooting at, bro? There's nothing on the tower. Okay. I made just as much of an L as the 52 gal did. Oh, now, what? She gotta throw them strikes a little bit faster, bro. Not gonna lie. Our airstrike delivery is too slow. We're going the wrong places. We're going nowhere. There you go. Our blaster's doing stuff for us. I'm not going where they're going, bro. I gotta go right. So I can actually reinforce the paint over here. With some extra coverage, just in case. What are you striking, bro? Okay, I'm bad. But yeah, seriously, no one's on tower, man. No one's painting that? There we go. Finally, man. Some teamwork. No idea what's happening there. I gotta play better for tower because I wanna get a higher score. Nah, that is not a brush player. Lies, bro. Brush players are usually aware because they know their weapon doesn't have range. It is a 5-star of the stamp one, which takes more awareness because it's hard to use. I don't know what they're doing there quite exactly, but it's okay. Just gotta know where you gotta place the mines, where you want to charge, stuff like that. And you can run into enemy base, but you gotta be aware of where they are first. And if they're striking the tower, I'm not so sure about that. Striking a tower when no one's on the tower? Like, I guess they could do the stall if it was the enemy was trying to get onto it. They could do that, but there was no enemy next to the tower. I mean, they were nearby, but they weren't next to the tower. Okay, nothing to see here. Got a pencil. Oh, who's playing these weapons down here? Got a carbon roller. We got La pencil. We got a blaster. Got a roller. Got 2 rollers. Got a E-liter. We got pencil. It's a weird game. I don't know what's happening. Ooh. That's a good one too. That's a good one, Chief. We got 2 down. Can you get that kill? No, you cannot. Okay. Good sign. Alright, I picked up a soda can. Don't worry, G. I'll be back on that tower. Help you reinforce there. The price is most certainly right. The pencil means backing up. This guy got that soda for us. $2.99. Oh, come on. I don't even think it matters at this point. It doesn't even matter at this point. You're scared of the beacons. Because they don't have places to jump to. Hello? Okay, I'm gonna say hello. There we go. Hello? I have no idea what an ice cream man's outside. I think that truck might be stolen. I'm not sure. Sad fizzy bomb. Get off that tower, G. Tower cheese. Okay. Yo, bro, my pencil. You're costing me money here, G. What you doing? Seeing a distinct lack of sodas on the map, man. Where's the soda at? I died there. My bad. Yeah. Soda prices keep going up because of this guy. Like, I have half the soda. He has to pitch in. You only soda people in the lobby. Look at, what are they doing? Dude, you're ruining the game. Like, bro, you have people who are on your team who are actually trying right now, right? But they're failing for them. I don't know why. They don't even want to help their own teammate, man. Some weird games the next one. Alright, Pencil Man, it's time for me and you to get something done. For a low price of free, you can get your zip caster canceled. Get back, bro. Joe Biden. No, it's not Joe. No, that's not Joe Biden. Joe Biden. Okay, got my jump bomb by accident. I didn't pay attention. $94. How do I only have silvers, bro? I was doing so much work with nothing. No. They didn't do a thing, bro. No. They didn't do a thing. How they getting gold besides me? I was on tower, man. I got the push going. Not fair. I was dying a lot, so that might be the reason why. Okay, I see it. Number 2 score booster, turf anchor, and ground traveler. Oh, you're talking about the guy in the game. I didn't notice that. My bad. I thought you were just saying his name randomly. No, he's actually in the game. Okay. Just attempted a 5-0 series, 9th attempt in trying to rank up. I think you should be able to do it, man. You should be able to. I mean, hopefully you should be able to, right? Gotta go. Alright, see you, MGB. Oh my god, bro. No, I exposed myself for 1 second and I'm dead. Terrible game design. That I die because of my own skill issue. But they really do need to fix the latency, that's a big issue. Need to fix that.
No way he knew I existed. What? Oh, there's the guy to my right too. Yes. Okay. Play on scat out right here. I mean, just gotta stop it at 44. No! Oh, he got behind me too. Dog, move, bro. Clean that tower off. No. Gotta clean that thing. That push was way too good. Okay. I got baited. What's my man, bro? My man has splash and crafting. You better paint that thing. Get on the tower, bro. Stop dying on the tower. There's nothing there to kill you, man. Get on that tower immediately. Bro, get over there. Now. Oh my god, bro. That tire is clean. It's gone, dude. Oh. We cannot clean a thing because we're not moving correctly. We're dancing around the tower. We're not actually getting on it. Too scared to touch the tower. Too dangerous. Well, I guess that means I have to kill more. Dog. I respawn fast. There we go. Alright, good game. Relatively easy. $2,000 is really good, actually. That's a good power. Like, did their power update it, unfortunately? Yeah. Like,
Are they still like X? They are. I'll play like one more X battle match. Like one more. Rip. Yeah. We want to end it. We might as well, right? Yeah. I think I'll end it. Tomorrow I'll probably do another stream like this. Not a lot of people came today, but I got that weather update out. That's important. That's up there for you guys to watch. That's the first hour of the stream. And we got this out. So I'll end stream because I want to do more other stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I'll try to stream earlier tomorrow, but I gotta make another weather update for that storm. When the next advisory comes out in like 12 minutes. I'll check it out and see what happens. Alright, see you guys later.